What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have some good news to share with you guys about Social Security and the trust fund. And we're going to talk about the jobs reports because these are very important for us to focus on because this is what's helping Social Security. And I'll explain to you the reason why in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so I want to set the stage first when it comes to looking at the jobs report and trying to figure out how this benefits people receiving Social Security benefits. Okay, so when you're working, you are paying into the payroll contribution, not the payroll tax, the payroll contribution. It's the same thing, but usually people call it the payroll tax, but it is a contribution. And so I'm referring to the FICA contribution. So basically you work 6.2% comes out of your paycheck and it goes to the Social Security Administration. Your employer will also match that 6.2%. And that's what help pays for the people who are currently receiving Social Security benefits. So the more people that you have in the workforce, the better off the Social Security Trust Fund will be and the Social Security as a whole will be. Because if you have more people working, that means more money is going to the Social Security Administration, which means the Social Security Administration doesn't have to draw as much money from the trust fund. Because right now you have two banks. You have the payroll contribution as well as you have the trust fund. Now the trust fund's sitting at about 2.7 trillion right now, but it is slowly depleting because you have right now with the payroll contributions, it's about 77% of what is needed to pay the Social Security benefits. And then they're taking an additional 23% from the trust fund. So that's what's happening right now. However, if we have a really good economy and we have a lot of people working, a lot of people in the workforce, that's more money that's being collected by the Social Security Administration. And so that 77% that I was talking about, that could move up to maybe 80% or maybe 83%. And so that means that you'll have to draw less from the trust fund. So let me show you this, and we'll just look overall first. They're showing us here the year. So this is 2023 right here. And so in 2023, 2.7 million jobs were added. 2.7 million jobs were added. Okay, now when we're looking at this chart, we can go back and we know what happened here. So we know that we saw that big dip there for the pandemic. And then we saw a rise here in 2021, 2022. We had another rise, but it was kind of a little bit lower. You can see here, this is a 5 million. So we were well over 5 million in 2021. 2022, we were down below 5 million, and now we're at 2.7 million. So it's dropping, but we're still seeing positive growth because look at job growth all of the years prior to that, since 2001. Look at the job growth. Actually, since 2000, look at the job growth. So we have never seen job growth like this. And part of it was because of this huge dip. So a lot of people lost jobs here. And so you had to make up for that by, the increases. That's a makeup. Now, when we saw this large dip, it's important to note that at that time, they were saying that the trust fund was going to run out of money a lot sooner. Because just like I gave you that scenario, if you have more people in the workforce paying into the payroll contribution, if you have less people in the workforce, you have less money going to the Social Security Administration, which means the trust fund, you need to draw more money from the trust fund. And so it will deplete a lot faster. But now we're looking good. We're looking good because we're back on track when it comes to job growth. And we just want this to continue. And so when we look at month to month, you see here 216,000 new jobs in December. And then you had a little less than 200,000 in November, and then we could just work our way. And you can kind of see what's going on here. In 2022, we had a real spike there, and I believe that was January of 2023 there. So just looking at what's going on month to month, as well as overall when it comes to the year, we're looking very good. And this is helping Social Security. And so what we're probably going to see in the future, the Federal Reserve has already indicated that they will probably have some cuts to interest rates this year sometime. And the talk is that we might see 3 cuts. And so that could potentially mean in March, we could see a cut. But if not in March, then we'll see a cut later down the road. But if the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates, that is going to spark growth, economic growth, which means that you're going to have even more people in the workforce, because when you cut interest rates, it makes borrowing more desirable. So companies will say, okay, we can borrow money, take out loans, we can hire more people. Individuals will look at borrowing to buy cars, to buy houses, and things like that. So we've been waiting for this for a while because interest rates are really high right now. So no one wants to buy a car. No one wants to really buy a house unless you absolutely have to. And so when they start making these cuts, it's going to spark growth. And that means you'll have even more people in the workforce, which will help the payroll contribution to Social Security. So that's all good news when it comes to Social Security. And so I just wanted to share this with you and just kind of explain to you what's going on when it comes to this. Now, obviously, we need to talk more about Social Security reform because the trust fund will eventually run out of money, and it looks like it's going to be in about 10 years if things pretty much stay the way that they are right now. And so we do need to talk about Social Security reform. We should be talking about expansions to Social Security. I'll keep you guys up to date, posted when it comes to politicians and how they're talking about Social Security reform. And Congress will actually reconvene this week. So we'll see the Senate on Monday, and then the rest of the week we'll see both the Senate and the House. And so hopefully they can start working on some things. And they have a lot on the table right now. They're talking about immigration reform. They're talking about money for the border. They're talking about money for Ukraine, money for Israel. And then we have January 19th, we're looking at a government shutdown if they can't pass these appropriations bills, which they need to pass. I mean, the House has passed some appropriations bills, but guess what? It hasn't passed the Senate yet. So we're going to have to get some type of compromise so they can pass these bills, because nothing has passed the Senate. So the House passed, I think, 7 appropriations bills. They still need to pass like 4 more. And the Senate also needs to pass all of them because the Senate hasn't passed all of them. And this is because you have the House and the Senate working on different planets. Basically, they're not talking to each other. And so because they're not talking to each other, you're not going to get any compromise. And so what the House is doing is they're just saying, you know what? We're just going to pass this and send it over to the Senate, but we're not going to talk to the Senate to see what they want. We're just going to pass what we want. And if they don't like it, oh, well, that's not going to work. That's just going to be a logjam. You're going to be in the same situation where it's going to be the 11th hour and you're going to try to figure out, how do we avoid this government shutdown? Oh, I know. Let's do a continued resolution for another couple of months. That's what we're going to see because they're not talking to each other. So that's what we're looking at right now. Social Security reform hopefully will be on the table this year. And like I said, I'll keep you guys posted when it comes down to it. But this is at least good news that we're seeing these jobs numbers. They're continuing to be good. And that's good overall for Social Security. So reform hopefully will be the next thing that they focus on. But we're going to have to wait until they figure out these other obstacles that are in the way, especially the government shutdown. I want to know what you guys think, so let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.